Jake was an avid user of Snapchat, often sharing snippets of his life with his friends. One night, while lying in bed and scrolling through stories, he received a snap from an unknown user named Watcherai. He hesitated, but curiosity got the better of him, and he opened the snap. It was a dark, grainy photo of a street, barely illuminated by a single streetlight. The caption read, "I'm watching you." Jake laughed it off, thinking it was a prank, and closed the app. The next evening, another snap from Watcherai appeared. This time, it was a photo of his house, taken from the outside. The caption said, "I'm closer." Unease settled in. He checked all the locks and closed the curtains before going to bed. The following night, Jake received another snap. It was a picture of his living room, taken from just inside his front door. The caption was, "Almost there." Panic set in. He rushed to the living room, but found nothing out of place and the door still locked. Determined to catch the prankster, Jake stayed up the next night, phone in hand, waiting. At around midnight, his phone buzzed. Another snap from Watcherai. His hands trembled as he opened it. The photo showed his bedroom door, slightly ajar. The caption read, "Here." Heart pounding, Jake stared at his bedroom door, which was now slowly creaking open. He fumbled for a weapon, grabbing a baseball bat he kept under his bed. He heard soft footsteps approaching. Gathering all his courage, he swung the door open, bat raised. But there was no one there. Breathing heavily, he checked every room, but his house was empty. Confused and terrified, he returned to his room, only to find his phone buzzing again. Another snap. This time, it was a video. With dread, he opened it. The video showed him, sitting on his bed, looking at his phone. As he watched, the camera panned to reveal a shadowy figure standing right behind him, its face obscured. Jake spun around, but saw nothing. He felt a cold breath on his neck and heard a whisper, "I'm always watching." He ran out of the house, never to return. He moved in with a friend and deleted his Snapchat account. But the memory of that night haunted him forever. He could never shake the feeling that he was being watched, no matter where he went. Rachel was a thrill seeker who loved participating in daring challenges with her friends. They often documented their exploits on Snapchat, sharing their adventures with their followers. One night, they decided to up the ante by exploring a notorious abandoned factory known for its dark history and rumors of being haunted. Rachel, along with her friends Mike, Jess, and Tom, arrived at the factory just after midnight. They started a Snapchat story capturing their entrance into the eerie building. The factory was massive, with broken machinery and graffiti-covered walls. The atmosphere was thick with the smell of rust and decay. As they ventured deeper, they decided to play a game of dares, with each dare becoming more dangerous. Jess dared Rachel to go alone to the factory's basement, rumored to be the site of many mysterious deaths. Feeling brave, Rachel accepted the challenge and took her phone to document the journey. She descended the creaky stairs, her flashlight casting eerie shadows on the walls. When she reached the basement, her phone buzzed with a snap from her friends, wishing her luck. She took a selfie in the dark, trying to look fearless, and sent it back. Just as she was about to explore further, she received a snap from an unknown user named Factorized. Curious and slightly unnerved, she opened it. It was a photo of the basement she was in, taken from a different angle. The caption read, "You're not alone." Rachel's heart raced. She quickly snapped a photo of the empty basement and sent it to her friends. asking if they were messing with her. They denied it, insisting they were still upstairs. Determined to prove her bravery, Rachel continued exploring. Her phone buzzed again with another snap from Factorized. This time, it was a photo of her, taken from behind. The caption read, "Right behind you." She spun around, but saw no one. Fear gripped her, but she pressed on, convinced it was a prank. She received another snap, this one a video. It showed her from the perspective of someone hiding in the shadows, following her every move. The caption read, "Run." Rachel's fear turned to terror. She bolted for the stairs, but her phone buzzed again. The final snap was a photo of the stairwell, blocked by a dark figure. The caption read, "Too late." Rachel screamed and tried to find another way out, but her friends upstairs could only hear muffled sounds through the thick walls. They ran down to the basement, but when they arrived, Rachel was gone. Her phone lay on the floor, with the last snaps still open. The mysterious user, Factorized, had vanished from her contact list, leaving no trace. The police were called, but they found no evidence of foul play or any sign of Rachel. She had simply vanished. Her friends were left haunted by the incident. The factory forever etched in their minds as a place of darkness and death. They never returned, and Rachel's disappearance remains an unsolved mystery. Megan was an adventurous college student who loved exploring new places and documenting her experiences on Snapchat. One weekend, she decided to visit an old, abandoned asylum on the outskirts of town, a place rumored to be haunted. Despite warnings from friends, Megan was determined to explore it and capture some eerie snaps. She arrived at the asylum just before sunset, armed with her phone and a flashlight. The building was in ruins, covered in graffiti and overgrown with vines. As she ventured inside, the atmosphere grew colder and eerier. She started snapping pictures and videos, sharing them with her friends on Snapchat. At first, the snaps were of dilapidated hallways and broken windows. But as she went deeper into the building, she began to feel an unsettling presence. She received a snap from one of her friends, asking if she was okay. She replied with a selfie, giving a thumbs up, trying to mask her growing unease. Suddenly, her phone buzzed with a new notification. It was a snap from a user named Silent Watcher. She didn't recognize the name, but curiosity got the better of her, and she opened it. It was a photo of her, taken from behind. The caption read, "I'm watching you." Megan's heart raced. She spun around but saw nothing. She convinced herself it was just someone playing a prank and continued exploring. However, more snaps from Silent Watcher started coming. Each one was a photo of her, getting closer and closer, with captions like "almost there" and "just a little closer." Terrified, Megan decided to leave. She hurriedly made her way back to the entrance, but her phone buzzed again. Another snap. This time, it was a video. It showed her from the perspective of someone hiding in the shadows, following her. The caption was, "Don't leave yet." Panicking, Megan ran, but as she reached the main hall, she tripped and fell. Her phone flew out of her hand, and before she could grab it, it buzzed one last time. The final snap was a blurry image of her face, twisted in fear. The caption read, "Got you." Hours later, Megan's friends, worried by her silence, called the police. They found her phone in the main hall of the asylum, but Megan was nowhere to be found. The last snaps she sent and received were still on her phone, but there was no trace of the mysterious user, Silent Watcher. Megan was never seen again, and her disappearance remains a chilling mystery. To this day, her friends receive occasional snaps from Silent Watcher. showing pictures of dark, abandoned places with captions like "Still Watching." Jack was a college student who recently moved into an old house, off campus with a few friends. The house was old and had a creepy vibe, but the rent was cheap and it was close to school. One night, while his friends were out, Jack was alone in the house, scrolling through Snapchat. He received a snap from an unknown user named Haunted House. The snap was a photo of his house, taken from the outside. The caption read, "I'm inside." Jack's heart skipped a beat. He quickly locked all the doors and windows, thinking it was just a prank. A few minutes later, another snap came through. This time, it was a photo of the hallway leading to the basement. The caption read, "Come find me." Jack felt a chill run down his spine. He decided to investigate, thinking one of his friends might be messing with him. As he approached the basement door, his phone buzzed again. Another snap. It was a picture of the basement stairs, taken from the top. The caption read, "Almost there." Jack hesitated but steeled himself and slowly descended the stairs. The basement was dark and musty. He turned on the light, but it flickered and went out. His phone buzzed again. This time, the snap was a photo of the basement, but from a different angle, showing the old, dusty furniture and cobwebs. The caption read, "Behind you." Jack spun around, but there was no one there. His phone buzzed again, and with trembling hands, he opened the snap. It was a video. The shaky footage showed someone walking towards the basement door from outside the house. The video ended with the basement door opening and a figure stepping inside. Jack's blood ran cold. He turned to run upstairs, but the basement door slammed shut. His phone buzzed again. The final snap was a photo of him, taken from behind. The caption read, "Got you." Jack screamed and pounded on the basement door, but it wouldn't budge. He heard footsteps descending the stairs and saw a shadowy figure approaching. In a desperate attempt to escape, he found a small window and squeezed through, cutting himself on the broken glass. He ran to a neighbor's house and called the police. When they arrived, they found the basement empty and the house locked from the inside. There was no sign of forced entry and no evidence of anyone else being in the house. Jack and his friends moved out the next day, unable to shake the feeling of being watched. To this day, Jack never found out who Haunted House was or how they managed to send those snaps. The experience left him deeply paranoid and wary of social media. Lisa was a high school senior who loved using Snapchat to keep up with her friends and document her daily life. One evening, she was alone at home, studying for her upcoming exams. She decided to take a break and check Snapchat. Among her usual friend stories, she noticed a new snap from a user she didn't recognize, Shadowstalker. Curiosity got the better of her, and she opened the snap. It was a blurry, dark photo of a forest with a single-word caption, "Help." Feeling uneasy, she thought it might be a prank, but couldn't shake the feeling of dread. The next snap came an hour later. This time, it was a clearer photo of the same forest, but now it showed a small, run-down cabin. The caption read, "I'm trapped." Lisa's heart raced. She didn't know anyone who lived near a forest, let alone in a cabin. She decided to ignore it, hoping it was just a strange coincidence. The third snap was the most disturbing. It was a photo of a girl, bound and gagged, inside the cabin. Her eyes were wide with terror. The caption, "Save me before it's too late." Lisa's blood ran cold. She quickly showed the snaps to her parents, who immediately called the police. The police arrived and took Lisa's phone to track the location of the snaps. After some investigation, they discovered that the cabin was in a remote area on the outskirts of town. They organized a search team and headed out. As they approached the cabin, the atmosphere was tense. They found the cabin exactly as depicted in the snaps. Inside, they discovered a girl, bound and gagged, but still alive. She was taken to safety and identified as Emma, a local girl who had been missing for days. Emma explained that her kidnapper had taken her phone but hadn't realized she was using Snapchat to send out distress signals. She had managed to send snaps to random users, hoping someone would take action. The police apprehended the kidnapper, who had been hiding nearby, watching the cabin. Thanks to Lisa's quick thinking and the police's swift response, Emma was saved just in time. The incident left a lasting impact on Lisa. She became more cautious with social media and always reminded others to stay vigilant. Though the experience was terrifying, she was grateful to have played a part in saving Emma's life. The story spread through their town, a chilling reminder of the dangers lurking in the shadows and the power of technology to both harm and save. Emily loved using Snapchat to keep in touch with her friends and share daily moments. One evening, she was home alone, scrolling through her friends' stories. Suddenly, a notification popped up. A new snap from an unfamiliar username, Ghostlymeyer. Curiosity piqued. Emily opened the snap. It was a blurry image of what seemed like a dimly lit room, with a large mirror at the center. Confused, she dismissed it as a wrong send. But minutes later, another snap came through. This time, it was a clearer image of the mirror, and in the reflection, she saw a faint outline of a figure standing just behind her. Her heart skipped a beat. She turned around quickly, but saw nothing. She rationalized it was just a trick of the light, or maybe an old photo. But then, more snaps started coming in rapid succession. Each one was of the mirror, each time getting closer and clearer. The figure in the reflection was becoming more defined. It was a woman with long, dark hair, and her eyes seemed to bore into Emily's soul. Panic set in. She tried to block the user, but the snaps kept coming. The final snap sent chills down her spine. It was a live photo of her own living room, taken from behind the couch where she was sitting. She felt an icy breath on her neck and froze. Emily didn't dare to turn around. Summoning all her courage, she ran out of the house and called the police from her neighbor's place. When they arrived, they found no sign of forced entry and nothing unusual. Emily's phone showed no record of the username Ghostlymeyer, as if it had never existed. Shaken, Emily moved in with a friend and vowed never to use Snapchat again. But the fear lingered. Every time she passed a mirror, she couldn't help but look, terrified that she might see that haunting figure standing behind her once more. It was a regular evening when Sarah, a college student, was scrolling through her Snapchat. She noticed a new friend request from a username she didn't recognize. Curious and thinking it might be someone from her class, she accepted the request. That night, she started receiving snaps from this mysterious account. At first, they were just pictures of random places around town. But soon, the snaps became unsettling. The images started to feature dark, empty streets and abandoned buildings. She shrugged it off, thinking it was someone playing a prank. The next day, the snaps became even more disturbing. One snap was a photo of her college campus taken from a distance. The caption read, "I see you." Her heart raced as she looked around, but she couldn't see anyone suspicious. That night, she received a snap that made her blood run cold. It was a photo of her dorm building, taken from outside. The caption read, "I'm closer than you think." She immediately called campus security, but they found no one outside her building. Over the next few days, the snaps kept coming. Each one was a step closer to her room. First, the building entrance, then the hallway, then right outside her door. Terrified, she spent nights with friends and rarely returned to her dorm. One evening, she received a final snap. It was a photo of her room, taken from inside. The caption simply read, "See you soon." She screamed and ran to her room, finding the door ajar. She called the police, but they found no sign of forced entry and no one inside. Sarah decided to delete her Snapchat account and move to a different dorm. The mysterious snap stopped, but the experience left her scarred. She never discovered who was behind the account or how they managed to get so close. To this day, Sarah warns others to be cautious about who they accept on social media, as you never know who might be watching.